In today's video, I will show you how I made this. With this machine, the Roland MC-303 Groovebox. In today's video, I'm gonna use the Roland MC-303 Groovebox again. I have it here next to me on the desk. It is a Groovebox from the late 90s. Besides all the retro sounds that are in there, it also has a sequencer, and it's actually 8-part multi-timbral. So that means that you have a rhythm track, and then there are 7 tracks that you can use for the built-in synthesizer sounds. So technically you can create an entire track. The sequencer works, but it's a bit fiddly, and if you don't use it that often, it works in a particular way. So it's not the most user-friendly sequencer, I would say, but it is possible. However, in this video, I'm going to make it a little bit easier for myself and use Ableton to sequence this machine. The only problem is that what I want to do is I want to put all my MIDI in Ableton and then send it out over MIDI to the Groovebox per track. So I want to have my drums, bass, melody, etc. sequenced from Ableton, but that's not possible. You can only sequence the active track. So if you select the rhythm track, so that is the track that will listen to the MIDI from Ableton. So you can't use it as a multi-timbral sound source. What I have done is instead I sequence one track, record the audio into Ableton, and then go to the next track, and that way layer by layer build up my track in Ableton. And my goal was to use all the 8 tracks that are available in this machine, so 8 different sounds, and also use the sounds quite as is. So I don't do too much sound design to it, do some effects here and there, but kind of keep the sound of the MC-303. At the end of the video, I'll play the entire composition that I have, but let's now go to Ableton and break it down track for track. So the first track is, the drum kit is C78. That is of course inspired by the CR78 from Roland. And I sequenced this pattern, and it sounds like this. And the only effects I applied is a little bit of saturation with a drive of 3, and I made it mono, and for the rest it is straight out of the machine. For the intro, however, I pitched up 1 octave, and I also reversed it, so then the intro sounds a bit different. And now the normal drum beat starts, and then for the break I chopped it up a bit to create a bit of variation. And that's all I did. And then going on to sound number 2, and if you use a 303, of course you need to use a 303 bass. So from bank to sound number 7, a 303 bass. Then I put the MIDI in like this, so kind of a walking bass line sort of, and it sounds like this. And again, no effects on this, so together with the drums. Sound number 3 is a synth pad. I programmed the MIDI like this, so there's a C in 2 octaves. The entire composition is in D major, by the way. And then the second part is an octave higher. So if I put it on, so you can see it's a C sharp, F sharp, E in 2nd octave, and then in the 3rd and 4th bar it's 1 octave higher. So that sounds like this. And then I did a low cut EQ, for the rest no effects. On to sound number 4. Sound number 4 is basically a drone, continuous drone pad. It's 1 note, it's an F sharp that plays for 4 bars. And just a low cut EQ. It has some noise in it as well. That's nice to kind of evolves. Then on to sound number 5. And sound number 5 is from bank 4. It's a synth lead. And the melody I play is kind of a walking line. And then for the second part, I play it an octave lower. And here I used a little bit more effects. So I added a reverb and an autopan to create a bit of stereo movement. So that sounds like this. On to sound number 6, and this is for the second part. So up to now there's a first part, there's a second part with this extra synth line, then there's the bridge where you just hear the synth line plus the chopped up drums, and then for the variation part I have the drums and the 303 bass, the drone synth, and then I add 3 new elements. So the first one is a short sound. As you can see, they're short, very short notes, and it sounds like this. So this is one of those kind of detail sounds that you just want to add to create a bit of variation. Then sound number 7, it's only 2 notes really, and I reversed it, so the original sounds like this, but then reversed. And then the last sound is more a sound effect, so 3 short notes over 4 bars. And this is just to add a little bit of ear candy. And here I added the delay and I cut everything below 500 because there's not really anything going on there. So as you can see, there's very little sound design going on in this session. I try to keep the sounds as is and only tweaked it here and there. I did some EQ on almost all of the sounds though, but no complicated sound design to transform the sounds. I will now play the entire composition that I have. It's not a finished track, but it's a good starting point for a track. And sometimes if you want to start a track, it's good to limit yourself to one instrument and really see what you can make with this. And of course now, if I want to build it out to a full-fledged track, I might want to add some synthesizers from Ableton or some samples or some other elements to also lift it out of the retro vibe. But as a starting point, I think this is a very good technique. So hopefully this was inspiring. As always, keep making music, keep doing sound design. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.